If you've ever sourced products online, you know the hardest part isn't finding suppliers. It's everything that comes after. Researching factories, comparing quotes, writing inquiries, following up, negotiating. It can easily take hours before you even get your first usable offer. But what if an AI agent could actually handle most of that work for you? Not just answer questions like ChatGPT, but actively help research suppliers, prepare better inquiries, manage follow-ups, and keep your sourcing workflow organized. That's exactly what Accio Work claims to do. So today, I'm giving it a real sourcing task to see if it can actually save time, or if it's just another AI assistant making big promises.
If you love discovering tools that make you think, wow, that was easy, you're in the right place. We test platforms, reveal hidden features, and teach you quick ways to boost your creativity, productivity, and your content game.
AI tools are getting really good at generating text, but sourcing products isn't just about writing. You have to research suppliers, compare information, keep conversations organized, follow up with different factories, and make sure you're actually getting useful quotes. That's where Accio Work takes a different approach. Instead of acting like a chatbot, it's designed more like an AI workspace that helps move the entire sourcing process forward. So in this video, I'm going to set it up, give it a real sourcing task, test its AI agent throughout the workflow, and show you what it does well and where I still think human judgment matters. Let's jump in. Before testing the AI, let's look at what sourcing usually feels like. You start with a product idea, then you're opening supplier after supplier, comparing prices, checking certifications, writing inquiries, waiting for replies, sending follow-ups, comparing completely different quote formats, and trying to remember which supplier said what. None of those tasks are particularly difficult. They're just repetitive. And when you're talking to multiple suppliers at once, they quickly become the biggest time sink in the entire sourcing process. That's exactly what I wanted to test today. Not whether AI can magically build a business for you, but whether it can remove a lot of the repetitive work that slows sourcing down every single day. Before starting the supplier research, I first needed to enable the Sourcing Toolkit plugin. Inside the plugin section, I selected Sourcing Toolkit, downloaded the plugin, toggled it on, and then clicked Start Prompting. This gives the AI agent access to sourcing-specific capabilities, allowing it to search for suppliers, organize sourcing data, and assist throughout the procurement workflow. With everything enabled, it was ready to begin the first supplier research task. Rather than asking random questions, I wanted to give Accio Work something practical. Imagine I'm launching a new product, and I need to find reliable suppliers as quickly as possible. Normally, this would mean hours of researching suppliers, comparing listings, writing inquiry messages, and organizing dozens of conversations. So I asked Accio Work to help me through that entire process. My goal wasn't to let AI make business decisions for me. Instead, I wanted it to handle the repetitive work in between, researching suppliers, organizing information, improving inquiries, and keeping everything moving while I focused on evaluating the results. Let's see how it performed. The first test was supplier research. Instead of manually browsing supplier after supplier, I simply gave the AI agent my product requirements and let it begin searching. One thing I immediately noticed is that it doesn't just return a list of suppliers. It starts organizing the information into something that's much easier to work with. Instead of jumping between different websites and taking notes yourself, the AI gathers relevant supplier information into one place, making comparisons much faster. As the results came in, I could quickly review different supplier options without constantly switching tabs. That alone makes the workflow feel much more organized than doing everything manually. And because everything stays inside the same workspace, it's much easier to keep track of the research as your sourcing project grows. So for the first test, I'd say Accio Work did exactly what I was hoping. It reduced the time spent collecting and organizing supplier information, letting me focus more on deciding which suppliers were actually worth contacting. Finding suppliers is only half the battle. The next challenge is actually reaching out to them, and this is where a lot of people lose time. Most first messages are either too short or missing important information. Something like, "Hi, I'm interested in your product. Can you send me the price?" The problem is that this usually leads to several rounds of back and forth before you get the information you actually need. So I wanted to see how Accio Work handles this. Instead of simply sending my prompt as is, the AI agent analyzed my request and started refining it into a much more complete supplier inquiry. It suggested adding missing product details, quantities, customization requirements, shipping information, and other questions that suppliers typically need before providing an accurate quote. What I like here is that it's thinking about the sourcing workflow, not just rewriting text. A better inquiry means suppliers can give you more complete responses from the start, which saves time for everyone involved. And if you're contacting multiple suppliers, having consistent inquiries also makes comparing their responses much easier later on. For me, this wasn't impressive because AI wrote a message. It was impressive because it helped structure the communication the way an experienced sourcing professional would. Once the inquiries are sent, the real work begins. Replies start coming in. Different suppliers offer different prices, different lead times, different minimum order quantities, and suddenly you're trying to keep track of multiple conversations at the same time. This is where Accio Work became much more interesting. Instead of treating every conversation separately, the AI agent helps organize everything inside a single workflow. It can assist with follow-ups, keep conversations moving, and help you avoid manually repeating the same questions across different suppliers. If someone hasn't replied yet, it can help prepare a follow-up. If another supplier asks for additional details, it already has the context from the previous conversation. That continuity makes the workflow feel much smoother. Now, I still wouldn't let AI make important business decisions for me. When it comes to negotiating final pricing, approving samples, or choosing a supplier, I still want to be in control. But for all the repetitive communication that happens before those decisions, this is exactly the type of task I'd be happy to let AI assist with. After multiple supplier conversations, Accio Work pulled everything together into a single summary. Instead of reviewing every message individually, it highlighted the key negotiation points, compared supplier responses, and organized the important details in one place. From there, the AI suggested the available options and then handed the decision back to me, asking which supplier I wanted to move forward with and whether I wanted to approve the payment. I like that it doesn't try to make the final business decision for you. Instead, it streamlines all the information so you can review everything quickly while still staying in full control of the final approval. After testing Accio Work from start to finish, here are my biggest takeaways. The first thing that stood out is that this isn't really designed to replace ChatGPT. It's solving a completely different problem. Most AI chatbots give you answers. Accio Work tries to help you complete an actual workflow, and I think that's an important distinction. The second thing I noticed is how much time it can save during repetitive sourcing tasks. Researching suppliers, preparing inquiries, managing conversation, following up. Those aren't difficult jobs, but they consume a surprising amount of time. Having AI handle a large part of that administrative work makes the overall sourcing process feel much more efficient. That said, I don't think this is a tool you should run completely on autopilot. You're still responsible for evaluating suppliers, negotiating important terms, reviewing pricing, and making the final purchasing decisions. But if you're looking for an AI assistant that helps reduce the busy work while keeping you in control, I think that's where Accio Work delivers the most value. Overall, I came away genuinely impressed with how focused Accio Work is on solving a real business problem. Instead of trying to be an AI that does everything, it concentrates on making supplier sourcing and communication much more efficient. If sourcing products is part of your business, or you're planning to start an e-commerce brand, this is definitely a tool worth exploring. If you'd like to try Accio Work for yourself, I'll leave the link in the description below so you can test the workflow and see how it fits your own sourcing process. And if you'd like to see more videos where I test AI tools in real business workflows, make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.